JF Stretford Paddock, this is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm not in the studio, I'm in my kitchen. So you can still get involved in the comments and the chat. But yeah, we're doing it from the kitchen. This is actually the paper talk stroke Gazette. I'm standing in for McCullough's Gazette. So I've gone and got all the papers like Macca does. We're going to go through the back pages this morning. And obviously, as you'd expect, when it comes to Manchester United, a lot of the focus is on Casemiro's red card against Crystal Palace, sent off after VAR intervened, and Andre Mariner, who had an absolute stinker, by the way, which I'll also get to in a minute, the referee, he gave Casemiro the red card, which now means he'll miss the next 3 games unless Manchester United appeal. We'll get into all that. First of all, though, we'll start with some news on the back of the Star. It's covered in other papers as well. You can see there, cash and carry. Now, this is saying here, there's 2 parts. It says 500 million debt bill for new owners, and it's saying exclusive. The owners of Manchester United are planning to leave behind the £500 million worth of debts they have accrued while in charge at Old Trafford. I mean, it's a joke, isn't it? The Glazers never should have been allowed to buy Manchester United Football Club. They never should have been allowed to plough into all this debt. They're going to walk away from the club with a load of money and the debt's still there. I mean, how this happened is just beyond me, but it has, and it does leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, to say the least. Yes, we want him gone, and I just wish they'd just hurry up and sell and move on. But it's infuriating the fact that they're leaving us with all this debt that they created, and they're going to make a massive amount of money out of their ownership of Manchester United, which has been, 18 years now of just mismanagement, to be honest with you. They got away with it for a little while under Sir Alex Ferguson because of his genius. They haven't got away with it post Sir Alex Ferguson because they don't know how to run a football club and they don't love or care about the football club enough to try and learn how to do that. Also, on the back of the Star, it says here, Ten Hag plotting clear out. Manchester United are preparing for big money sale with Harry Maguire, Anthony Martial and Scott McTominay leading a summer squad cull. It goes on to talk about him, he's a bit ruthless when he needs to be, Eric Ten Hag. Listen, you can understand it. Harry Maguire, he can't get near the team, can he? I know he came on yesterday, but that was only because Eric Ten Hag went sort of double defensive following the sending off of Casemiro. Scott McTominay, what is he now in the pecking order? I know Marcel Sabitzer is only here on loan, but you expect him to be ahead of him. Eriksen's obviously ahead of him. Casemiro, I think you could argue maybe Fred fits the bill a little bit more, although Fred might be one player who's on his way out. I don't know, but I just feel that Scott McTominay is going to move on, and he has been linked with a move to Newcastle, believe it or not. So that could happen. And yeah, it looks like there is a bit of a summer clear out being planned. Let us know what you think about that. Those players. Anthony Martial's probably the one that maybe people might be looking at and going, Anthony Martial, but he's always injured. That's the issue. He's constantly injured, and he was injured yesterday, wasn't he? He was given a second chance by Eric Ten Hag after a relatively disappointing 2 seasons, and he did really well in pre-season. He's done well when he's played. He just doesn't play enough. And you just feel like, can you rely on him? Can you bring in a striker in the summer and say, you're going to play second fiddle to someone like Anthony Martial, who's never fit? Also, I'm just looking here on the page when I turn over. It says, joining them will be Alex Telles, Eric Bailly, and Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek's another one who's had no luck with injuries. So it looks like there's going to be a bit of a summer clear out. And it looks like new owners, whoever they may be, there is talk of bids coming in. I think the Daily Mail had it online. There could be bids from the Middle East and the US next week. We can expect some more bids. So that wouldn't surprise me. But whoever does come in will have £500 million worth of debt to look after, thanks to the Glazers. The evening news says seeing red. There you go. Picture of Casemiro. It says Ten Hag. It says Ten Hag considers appealing Casemiro dismissal after victory over Palace. Over Palace, even not Palace. Palace. It does say that Ten Hag conceded that Casemiro crossed the line, but the problem was lots of other players did too, because it was a bit of a melee, wasn't it? Casemiro will miss next week's Premier League doubleheader against Leeds United, as well as the visit of Leicester City on February the 19th. He won't miss the Carabao Cup final. Now, as far as I know, if we appeal and his appeal is deemed frivolous, you can get an extra game ban, which would mean he misses the Carabao Cup final, as far as I know. Get involved in the comments if I've got that one wrong. I don't think it's worth it. I don't trust the FA. I don't think it's worth it. I think if we were to lose Casemiro for the cup final, it'd be devastating. I think we can beat Leeds and Leicester without him. I know it's not going to be easy, but I think it's doable. I think if you're going into that cup final without your best midfielder, it's a big ask against the Newcastle team, who are doing really well. So I wouldn't risk it, and it is annoying. But yeah, I'd be cautious with that one. The Observer as well, talking about the game, says Casemiro sees red after melee, but United cling on. And then it's got the Erik Ten Hag quote. It says, "I see two teams crossing the line and one player gets picked out and sent off. That's not right." Yeah, there was it Jordan Ayew who was involved in it as well? I think he grabbed hold of Fred at one point. You saw it going on, and you thought that's just all the players getting involved. I didn't think it was a red at the time. I didn't even see it at the time. I still feel it's harsh, and I feel he's got more of his collar. I can understand why he's giving it though. VAR calls you over. The images they showed him, I think they spoke about Match of the Day, saying they stitched him up a bit with those images, the referee, what they showed him, because it looked like a red card. It looked worse than it actually was from that angle. But I will say this about Andre Mariner. I thought his performance yesterday was nothing short of disgraceful. He let fouls go unpunished early doors, which encouraged then players to kick off, and I think helped lead to what we saw with players just had enough and realised the ref's not getting involved enough in this game, and tempers were sort of boiling over. Little things as well, like, well, it's not even a little thing. The Sabitzer foul that he gave, I don't know if you've seen it, I've tweeted about it. If you see it, there's the tackle by Marcel Sabitzer, who I thought played very well when he came on, by the way. And he gives a foul, and it's just not a foul. There's no way that's a foul. And I don't understand why he does it. United down to 10 men. Sabitzer gets the ball and launches a counter-attack when we need one, and he pulls him up for a foul. And it just wasn't. And it's little things like that. And also, towards the end, he added a little bit more than the 7 minutes. I think he did 2 minutes over, or a minute and a half over the 7 minutes. And plus, when United, towards the end of the game, were trying to sort of keep the ball down near the Palace corner, the ball went out for a Palace throw-in, and he'd let him bring it like 20 yards further up the pitch to take the throw-in. It was just infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. He missed the penalty as well, didn't he? That was right in front of him. Okay, VAR called him up and he's gone and given it. But yeah, I just thought it was a really, really poor performance by Andre Mariner. And I'm not one for always slagging off referees, because I think referees do have a tough job. It is almost a thankless task at times. And I remember I know it's not the same. I remember refereeing five-a-side back in the day, and that was bad enough. You used to have people kicking off and all sorts. But when it's a bad performance by the referee, you've got to call it out, and that was terrible. And also, he seems to upset everyone, because I think Patrick Vieira took to the pitch to have a go at him. You've had players and the manager, Manchester United manager, sort of criticising him, basically. Just shows it was just a bad refereeing performance. And Erik Ten Hag, in another quote, has said that if you look at what happened, he was holding Hughes back to protect him. I'm just trying to find the actual quote here. He said, asked if Ayew should have been one of the players that should have been sent off. Ten Hag replied, definitely. He did even worse than Casemiro. Casemiro, you freeze the shot and he crossed the line. Ayew, definitely. You have to be consistent with VAR. Casemiro is protecting our player and also protecting the player who wants to attack, meaning Hughes. He is holding him back. He doesn't want to hurt the player. They hugged afterwards, Hughes and Casemiro. They hugged. So I don't understand now. You can look at it and think, oh, it's a red card. But it was, I can, like, I think one of those where a VAR not intervened, everyone moves on and forget about it. But once VAR intervenes and shows that image, that's when you end up with a red card. And I think that's not what VAR is for. Manchester says, Sunday Mirror, says that Glazer's final insult as they'll dump huge debt on the new owners, as I was talking about earlier. And Pep Guardiola's got a warning for the City Stars as they face the axe after shock Cancelo exit. Cancelo's low move, I think, to Bayern Munich sort of caught everyone by surprise. Also, as well, should we just talk about Liverpool briefly? Because they're on the back of a lot of pages. Klopp saying, I have no words for it. I'm sorry. There you can see on the back of the Mirror. Liverpool, of course, losing 3-0 at Wolves. Klopp as well wouldn't speak to James Pearce, I think. And I thought at first it was a journalist from The Sun, which I get why Klopp doesn't want to talk to them, and rightly so. But James Pearce, I think, is from the Athletic? But he said, I'm not answering a question from you. Get someone else to ask that question, and I'll answer it. So, yeah, Liverpool in all sorts of trouble. Also, as well, Arsenal losing yesterday. Everton, under Sean Dyche, beating Arsenal in his first game. That was a bit of a turn-up for the Bucks, wasn't it? So, yeah, some good results for United yesterday, leaving us looking good in the top four. Obviously, a big result at Old Trafford as well. Just a little bit frustrating with that Casemiro red card. We'll wait and see if the club appeal it. I hope they don't. Glazer's leaving with a load of debt for us to look after, or for the new owners to look after. Nothing new there. The sooner they're gone, the better. Get involved in the comment in the chats. Don't forget as well to hit like, share, and subscribe. Big thanks to everyone who supported the channel over the last 2.5 years. We do appreciate it. We're back tomorrow with the Paper Talk outside Old Trafford. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk /Gazetta from my kitchen. Thanks for watching.